Okay, thank you everyone for being here, whether you're here now or watching the Zoom. I want to introduce our speaker today. That is Jessie Coffey. She does a lot of whole child work for the Department of Education. And so she's going to give us an intro into whole child, what it is, and a lot of our focus at the Get Connected conference in September will be on whole child. So, Jesse, I will let you take it away.
All right, everybody. I've been loading in the walk to unlock stuff really quick for the mini grants, and it's giving me a little bit of a fit. So I'm just want to make sure that the link is in here when I share these slides. Sorry. I was at a conference the last 2 days, so I'm a little bit behind on things. All right. All right, I'm just going to share this now. Nope, anyone with the link can look, copy link. All right. Okay, now I need to find my Zoom window. It's over here. Oops. And there's the chat. All right. I have a lot of links in here, so I just wanted to be able, I like to, if people are going to do that, I like to have it with me when they're presenting. And then now I need to share my screen. Sorry. So many technology things here. Okay, there she is. There we go. Slideshow. Wonderful. So thank you for bearing with me there. I'm Jessie Coffey. I work in the Office of Coordinated Student Support Services. So if you are working within a district, it's very much like the student support services or people that you have in your district. And we provide a lot of non-academic supports to students. And of course, 21st Century is housed in this office as well. So this is our office. As you can see, all these different components of our office all are in service of supporting the non-academic pieces. And I'll kind of talk about each of these a little bit more. And then I see Scott is on from school safety. And so Scott, if you have any additional resources, I didn't have time to really dig into your website to see if there's anything OST related. But I'll be talking about several of the other areas that we have direct supports and resources and links for y'all to dive into in the future. And I'll also do a little bit of highlighting our website in general too, so that you have that. And I'm going to go ahead and just put our student support. So both of these things are in the chat website, because this is really where all the resources are housed that I'll be talking about today. You can get to them from the website. Okay, so chat is here. And here is our CSSS web site. Our office is fairly new. We were created in 21 or 22, Scott? Something like that. It was sort of in the pandemic years, which is, kind of all blur for all of us. But really, we're still trying to share out that we exist, and that all of what opportunities and resources we have available. So I'll talk about a lot of different things, but honestly, you're the experts in your own community. So some of the stuff that we're sharing may not be a good fit for you, but so take what we're sharing and showing and adapt it in the ways in which you think work best for your community. And then if there's stuff that's just not a need or not useful, you don't have to utilize those resources. We have, all those different components of the circle that you can use. So pick what works for you. And then really you can see from the original circle to this one, the whole child model, our office was really developed around this CDC ASCD, which was the Association for School Curriculum Directors. Back that ASCD created this model back in 2007, and then it was piloted, and actually LPS Lincoln Public Schools piloted this model at 3 different buildings when I was there previous to working at the NDE, I worked for Lincoln Public Schools. And so once ASCD had tested the model enough, CDC actually in 2014 adopted this as their sort of new coordinated student support and or school coordinated health support. And really, this is all of the things that y'all do in the after school space across the state. You work in all these areas to make sure that students in your program are healthy, safe, engaged, supported, and then challenged through the work that you do. So there's a couple, if you are interested in that, there's links down there, but similar or aligning with OST programs, you can see that there's the yellow community support pieces, which is so instrumental in what you all do. And so that is what makes the whole child model really work, is those additional supports. And we all know that we sort of lost some of that during the pandemic when we kind of closed up the doors at like a drawbridge to a castle. And no one was available to be let in, no community members. In Lincoln Public Schools, where my kids go to school, I wasn't even able to be in my kids' school as a parent. And so that was kind of hard. I had a kid in middle school during some of those years where we couldn't really visit. So I didn't know how I could support the school either. So I think we're sort of back to more of the normal time. And so being able to build back up some of those relationships that probably went a little bit by the wayside, unfortunately, just out of necessity. And really the goal of the whole child model is to coordinate and collaborate among component areas. So what I mean by that is oftentimes you have like the PE teacher or person doing something in your school. Maybe you're coordinating with them to do a club and use some of the stuff. But then there's another teacher doing something very complementary because they like physical activity. And they're not even aware of what everyone else is doing. So really like leveraging coordinated efforts so that like maybe they have equipment that you can use and shared spaces, or maybe there's a school garden initiative that could be something that you pick up in the summer. So that's another sort of example. Facilitate awareness of student needs. As out of school time professionals, you get to see students in a different way than a classroom teacher might be able to see a student. They may share with you things that they don't share with people during the day. So then you can coordinate that student need between in school day programs, processes, and like practices, but also the staff that's available. So that social worker or that school counselor you can tap into them and leverage those resources, and then reduce that program duplication. As we all are looking at ESSER funds getting sunsetted here in September, we're all looking at reducing duplication because money will be more limited in districts as that happens. So we also know that students come to school as a whole child. They don't just come as a student and they forget about everything that happened to them. So if they are dealing with substance abuse, they have their own health needs, hunger, mental health concerns, bullying, homeless, all of those things affect how students orient themselves within school, but also in your programs. And oftentimes the school day people sort of get the fresh, ready to learn version of a student, and you kind of get the hangry, tired, crabby kids. And so really thinking about how we can support their emotional and cognitive processing in the out of school world, because it's almost more important in that space. And really at the conference in September and through the Whole Child, Whole Life book, that really focuses on this piece and really meeting the needs, those foundational needs of students, so that your jobs are a little bit easier if we're attending to those needs. So this is an example. If your district is participating in multi-tiered systems of support, some districts have been good in including the after-school program staff, director at least, in the processes that are in place within the district, because after the pandemic, I would say more school districts have started to do this work. But what that really means is that we're looking at those physical, social, emotional, behavioral, academic, all of those needs. And then the green component of the triangle, that's that universal. This is for all students. Those are services, resources, and programs that everybody has access to, because we want to do a good job with that green level, because if we do a good job there in those foundational pieces, then we have less students and families that need really intensive supports at like the top part. So that means a safe environment, engaging curriculum, healthy school nutrition, time for physical activity, and then another part that y'all are really good at, that family school collaboration piece. So those are those universal pieces. And then really building up to like the yellow, which is the targeted support. So this would be more like, 20% of your students might need these additional support. Students and families need those additional supports, but they do need them. I was just speaking with ESU4 yesterday, and we were talking to their the nurse consultant, the person that goes out to schools and supports in a nursing capacity. And we think about translation needs. That's a targeted support. If we have 10 or 15% of your families who are intersecting with your program but really don't know what information is being shared, then it's really hard for them to be able to get their kids in a club or something special, because they're not able to navigate the information. So that translation piece. And so we were talking about that. And then that higher tier that selects, that's really like more of your 5% of students. So thinking about someone that's maybe on a behavior plan and how that interacts with the students and also the staff, and then the supports there or modifications you need to make. Oops, I just made that smaller. Oh, I actually clicked on it. So there's a live link there. Let's see, it's not letting me go. Okay, hold on. Yep. Oh, actually it did. Oh, stop. All right. I'm not patient. And so again, as you think about accessing your community partners, these are just examples of folks that are able to help support the well-being of students. So those local health departments, they can come in. We know vaping's more and more a problem, and even at an elementary level, so 4th, 5th grade. We work with a lot of health departments across the state. They're doing education for that. So if you want them to come in and help be a community partner, you also may have hospitals in your service area, also businesses. Broken Bow did a great job in connecting with Farm to School with some of the producer partners in her area. They came in and did activities with the youth, also social service agencies. Law enforcement is a great partner. If we can get youth engaged with law enforcement in a positive way before they have to potentially engage with them in a negative way, then they have a better understanding of that. They're there to help them and keep them safe. And those are why we have these rules and whatnot. Or also there's parks and recreation or game and parks, or I'm not going to remember the name of the district, the natural resource districts across the state may serve your area. That's one of the places I've learned about recently. They do a lot of great stuff. And then really, if you think about what you're doing in the out of school program, is you're doing a lot of what's called school connectedness strategies. So you're trying to build those relationships with the kids in your program. And then this is just an example. We do a survey with teachers and schools across the state every 2 years, and we're doing one right now. But this is an example of how school districts and after school programs, because they're counting the work you all do when they answer these surveys. This is how they're saying that they're most likely building relationships and developing school connectedness with students across the state. We know that kids with better relationships are more likely to attend school, have better grades, have better post-secondary success. So this is really an important piece. And so you can see there the variety of ways. The most common way is the mentoring. And then the least common way is through professional development on this topic. And we at NDE, in partnership with Beyond School Bells, want to provide a couple opportunities this summer and then into the fall that would give your staff more skills to be able to more effectively develop relationships and connect with youth, because it's not being done very much. And it also, based off of some of the Beyond School Bells surveying with their regional connections, that's a need. We know that directors want staff to learn those skills. And I'm not exactly sure why I highlighted that, but that can mean a million things. And so you can get really creative. and hopefully the whole child, whole life resources will be able to allow you to build out opportunities within your program. I'm not going to play this because we don't have enough time, but it is in here if you want to look at it. So I've mentioned data points a couple times. I know some of the after school places that I have worked in after school did health and wellness activities with students, and I just wanted to let you all know that we do actually have data on our website that highlights what students are doing. A lot of times I think students think, oh, like everyone's vaping. Well, that's the statistics say it's actually about a third of kids are vaping. So like everybody isn't doing it. And those are the sorts of things that we are sharing with students. We're sharing with students about bullying and why that's not a healthy practice, things like that. So we do have that those resources on our website. And then in particular, I wanted to share a little bit more about the health services resources that we provided. So at the innovation invitation, Stephanie, is that the right words? Yay. All right, that we had in March. We partner with Children's Hospital and Medical Center, which is now actually transitioned to Children's Nebraska, but I was afraid if I put that on here, you wouldn't exactly know what that was. They have done a lot of support for our health services piece of students, school nurses, and then anything with health screenings, or we've done a couple after school programs, some family community engagement. We know that there's a lot of factors that contribute to our health, but 50% of our health is affected just simply from our physical environment and then those socioeconomic factors that families experience. So health behavior, so only teaching about making better choices, nutrition, or being more physically active is, a smaller portion than maybe some of us realize. And then, so really helping address some of those basic healthcare needs. And when we say that, we partnered with Schuyler Community Schools, and this was, I think, a during the day activity, but also spanned into the summer, with doing some health screening, some vision screening, and getting some free eyeglasses to youth. And so we had folks coming out to help with that, and then gave kids glasses that needed glasses at no cost to them, because it's hard to learn when you can't see the board. And this is all done through the Nebraska Foundation for Children's Vision, and they'll come out and do a screening. They have limited numbers of screenings they do across the year, but even if this is consistently a problem in your buildings, you could even schedule it for, like November now, when you have, I don't know if you have a little more time, or maybe you're more busy, but these are the types of opportunities that Children's has partnered with us to make happen. And then this nice book, this Nebraska Infection Control for Education book at the Innovation Invitation, was a giant hit with after school program staff across the state. It's a colored book. I'm gonna actually pull it up and show you. It's a nice resource. The website has a lot of good things on it, in addition to like CPR. And I'm going to change my screen share. All right, hold on. I kind of wanted to actually get to it. So this is what it looks like, and it also has different skin tones. So if you've ever seen like what measles or mumps look like on a Caucasian person, it's loading. It looks different on someone with a darker skin tone, and so it was helpful. And several of the after school program people, oh shoot, is it not going to load? Wanted to order several of the books, but it is online here. I can't get it to work. So here's the online book. There's a feedback form. There are hand washing posters, some more information about hand, foot, and mouth disease if you would be so unlucky to get that in your summer program. Information about when parents should keep students home. And then there's all these other great resources on here as well that are under the health services tab of the website. And then I'm just going to move over to our nutrition services portion of the website. and then talk just a little bit about our farm to school program. So many of you have accessed these resources, maybe participated in our crunch off, which happens every October. So we try to send out information to y'all about these opportunities. And so I'm helping Sherry Landis with the newsletter now. So you should be getting all of these opportunities when those pop up. That's just the crunch off is a fun day where we have people register. Nebraska has actually won the crunch off in our region. So that's Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas, and Iowa the last 5 years. So the competition is fierce now. The other states are kind of annoyed that we keep winning. So we'll need all of your help to register your sites. And then really what it boils down to is someday in October, like whatever day the food service person puts an apple or carrots on your snack menu, or maybe you can ask them to do that for you. Then everybody crunches off that day. You take some pictures and post it to social media, and then there you go. So it's a pretty easy, low stress activity, but it makes for some great fun photo ops. And then you could always invite family or community members in to do some sort of coordinating activity. And then if you all haven't seen, but we have our Harvest of the Month. So that's a program really that we used to just highlight one Nebraska grown item a month. So like June is National Dairy Month, for example. But now we have so many and we have new items that we don't just do one a month. We're doing several a month and we're working on a new calendar. But here are our new items are on our website. They're starred here. So our berries are new. We have a bunch of summer items. So cucumbers, dairy, honey, eggs, radishes, and tomatoes. And then the other ones that are yet to be put up are zucchini and yellow squash. So those will be coming as well. So this is a really great opportunity for you to I'll just go on for the dairy month example. So we have a newsletter for parents. We have a poster. If you did something fun, like made a yogurt parfait, we have stickers that you can use. I don't know why none of this is loading slowly. You could, if you wanted to do for your younger kids, you could do a taste test with some yogurt parfaits. There they are. They're very cute. We actually work with an artist from UNL, and she actually draws everything by hand and then watercolors and everything. And then we also have some coloring sheets, which I know it's for more of the definitely kindergarten, first grade, and then some fun trivia cards. We're building out recipes as well. We have them. They're being tested. And then those will be up by the end of the summer. But then you can see all the other different items are listed here too. So that is our Harvest of the Month resources. And then I'm going to go back to this. And then for physical activity, many of you may have heard of we have a variety of resources, but at the NDE, we use this sort of model, this coordinated model where we look at physical education during the day and physical activity during school, but then also before and after school, staff, and then family community engagement. So providing resources and support for these things. If you're planning on writing an ELO grant, this is an area where a lot of folks are building in physical activity. We talked to Sarah in Columbus a couple weeks ago. She already had a cooking club created. And then they added a soccer program to that because that was reflective of the interests of their Latino families in the community, which their buildings have a high percentage of Latino students. And then they were also going to be adding a social emotional, that relationship building and some school connectedness pieces in. So that's some examples of how you might write for an ELO grant that would span several different components of the whole child. And then, sorry, I'm trying to move around stuff on my screen. And then we have our Walk to Unlock Nebraska, and the image isn't showing up, but it's our program, our interactive program map of Nebraska that has 4 virtual trails. It has K through 8th grade curriculum, so you can find something for everyone, and it really encourages people to track and their physical activity miles. as they work their way across the state on different trails and checkpoints. So they're learning about Nebraska history, agriculture, a variety of game and parks. Nebraska Farm Bureau Foundation has quite a few lessons built in. And so it's a nice integrated curriculum, cross-curricular, promoting physical activity. And we have mini grants available that are available. Well, really, they're available now and then through the first semester. And so it takes about 10 minutes to apply. You get $750 and they can pay for things like physical activity equipment, instructors, or someone to do a club, field trips, supplies, ag in the classroom site, snacks, or a club leader. The sign up form is on this page. And then there's a little bit more information here about how you can use them, but really to support physical activity in the summer or even through the fall. And then we also have been promoting Go Noodle because that's a really great way. I know a lot of folks have been using that. We used to have the Plus, but Children's Hospital is no longer sponsoring that. So you now just have access to Go Noodle regular, which they have so many resources and supports that even just the regular version of it has been really helpful for after school program folks. So this is just an example. Maybe you don't want to do an inside physical activity because they just were at recess, but you actually want them to come back and calm down before homework. They really now have a lot of mindfulness and sort of mental health supports. In addition to just the standard issue, they need a physical activity break as well. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. And so okay, I already mentioned our farm to school tools and resources. And then lastly, in my last 3 minutes, we also have quite a few school climate and mental health resources. We all know that the pandemic has affected kids in a lot of different ways, as well as families and staff. And so some people are long over any of the issues that they may have experienced, while some people are still affected. And so recently we've got a new grant that focuses on staff mental health. So we know that staff can't take care of students if their cup is empty. So we know that over the last several years, 52% of educational professionals or anyone working with youth has saying that their mental health has declined as a result of the pandemic and the resulting challenges that youth demonstrate or experience in schools. So this is a little old. This is like June 2021, but they're saying 40% of US adults are struggling with mental health and substance abuse. So you can see some of that data. So this is really kind of lays the ground or the foundation for why we need to do something to support school staff. And so we have this funding to provide resources for school staff, and that includes you, because we know there's a high levels of stress, burnout, and anxiety, and really just the staffing shortages. And so we have a guide, and some of it is social media posts, but we also created some resources. And I'll just do that so you can click on some of them. This orange one in particular are more like plug and play resources. So there's a staff wellness checklist. There's some gratitude cards. There are things that you can actually use in your program to help support the mental health of your staff, self-care tips and ideas. I think I was 5 years old before I even knew there was such a thing as self-care. I'm like, what? As a mom, you get that? So there's a lot of resources out there. We just kind of work to curate some of them, and we have them available. We will be making some back to school kits available, and we'll send that out in the newsletter when those are ready. And then sort of my last highlight really is that the ESUs currently do have funding to support school mental health components. If your district has opted into that, certainly the after school program could benefit from some of those resources that the district is receiving. And this is all ESSER funds, so this all does expire September 30th. So you may just need to inquire within if your district has accessed those additional mental health funds that came through NDE to the ESU to the buildings statewide. And then I just want to put a plug in for the 2-year learning opportunity grants. The grant period is August 2nd to June 30th, 2026. The deadline to apply is July 1st. And then if you're a CLC site, you have access to the Dropbox. If you don't, then we have to work a little more strategically to get you access to how you would submit those, because it's through a SharePoint site that only certain people have. But all the information is linked here. It's also on our website. So any questions as we're right on time? Oh, I see that we have someone love doing Harvest of the Month activities in their cooking club. Yes, I like creating those. So it's been a really fun project for me. But if there's anything in particular you want more information about and you can't find it on the website, please contact me and let me know what else you might need. We would be happy to help you find resources or programs that your needs or the needs of the students or families in your districts or programs.
Thank you so much, Jessie. Our next Stay Connected will be June 20th at noon. So we hope to see you then. Thank you all for joining today.